Can a $500 soundbar compete with my $10, $13, $14,000 home theater system? No, no, it can't. But can a $500 soundbar give me 85% of the immersion of my $10 or $13,000 home theater system? Again, no, it can't. But it doesn't mean it's not good, and it doesn't mean that it can't give you a wonderful movie and TV watching experience. If you take a walk through your local Best Buy, you will see that the choices for soundbars are vastly superior to your choices for home theater, for a traditional home theater with separate speakers. The last time I was in Best Buy, not the Magnolia part, the regular Best Buy, you could probably choose between a dozen, 2 dozen, maybe even 36 different soundbars. And there were 3 different home theater receivers that you could choose from, and 3 different types of home theater speakers that you could choose from. You could get the Polk XT series, you could get the Sony SS series, SSCS5s, etc. Or you can get the Klipsch, the bottom tier or the most affordable Klipsch series of speaker. 3 different receivers, 3 different speaker types. If you go into Magnolia, there's more to choose from. Even at Walmart, you probably have a dozen different soundbars to choose from. At Target, even more to choose from. The point is, home theater is circling the drain. It will always exist. But it's kind of like 2-channel stereo systems, like a receiver, separate speakers. Home theater, in the form that I grew up with, is just not popular anymore. For the masses, I still love it. And some soundbar systems are getting really, really good, but they're also getting really, really pricey. And they come out with a new soundbar, it seems like every 6 months. So the one that you buy today will probably be obsoleted in the next 2 years. However, if it's pretty simple, you're still going to be able to enjoy it for a long, long time. Receivers, they also get obsoleted very quickly too. But it doesn't take a PhD in business to understand that soundbars are way more popular than any of the home theater separates that you can get today. But not me. I love the inconvenience and complexity of a nice home theater system. I purchased my first home theater receiver, I think in 1999, maybe 2000, 2001. Anyway, it's been over 20 years and I've owned dozens of different home theater receivers. I've gone from Dolby to Dolby Digital, DTS, Atmos, the whole thing. I've been on the ride for the whole time. And it was awesome 20 years ago, and it's awesome today. I even had the little Bose Cubes system. I've had huge center channel speakers with 2 6.5-inch woofers. And I've also owned multiple soundbar systems. Soundbars have gotten better and better. They have Dolby Atmos support now. They have flexibility, and that's what we're going to talk about today is the Klipsch Flexus Core 200, as well as the separate wireless subwoofer, as well as the separate wireless surrounds. And I'm going to compare that to my very expensive home theater system that's made up mostly of Emotiva products. I think there are some ultra expensive soundbars that may compete with expensive home theaters, but is a soundbar system for less than $1,000 going to compete with a 7, 9, 11, 13 channel home theater system? No, it's not. And we're kind of comparing apples and oranges. But I was surprised just how much I enjoyed watching movies and watching television shows on this little Klipsch system. So the Klipsch soundbar system all starts with a Flexus 200. There's also a 100, which is a cheaper version, less expensive version with fewer drivers. The 200 is a 3.1.2 channel Dolby Atmos system. It uses Onkyo amplifier technology, which is all part of the same umbrella, the Vox umbrella. On the front, in the middle, you have two 2.25 inch, they call them mid-bass drivers, a 0.75-inch horn-loaded tweeter. On the outside, the exterior, the periphery, you have two 2¼ inch aluminum drivers. On the top, there are also two 2¼ inch Dolby Atmos up-firing drivers, bouncing them off the ceiling, and a 4-inch built-in subwoofer on both sides. And frankly, I was a little surprised just how much bass this thing put out. Just the core, just the soundbar. The beauty of this system, though, is that you can add to it with other wireless accessories like wireless surrounds and a wireless subwoofer. I have the wireless surrounds and I also have the wireless subwoofer. You can run up to 2 wireless subwoofers, I believe, and you can also just wire another subwoofer like normal people do from a receiver if you want to, but that wouldn't be nearly as convenient. And that is going to be the overwhelming theme of this video. At what point does convenience trump complexity? My current home theater system has a processor from Emotiva. It's an RMC1L. I think it can handle up to 16 different channels. It can do 3 subwoofers. Right now in my upstairs home theater, which is also the children's play area. Of course, a left, a right, and a center. I have 2 height channels, which I use as Dolby channels. I have 2 side speakers. I have 2 rear surround speakers. And then I also have 2 upward firing Dolby Atmos speakers on the back. It's a lot of speakers. And it sounds awesome. I mean, there's wires everywhere and I have a tendency to trip over them. It's very inconvenient for the family because I don't have a permanent home theater setup because I'm constantly changing things out. So there's lots of wires up there. And you know what my wife loves? There's lots of wires. That's not true. She hates it. The children hate it. And I hate when people trip over them and pull the speakers out. Yes, I could wire things in the wall, but I haven't because it's not a permanent setup. So I'm fascinated with soundbars and wireless subwoofers and surrounds because it's convenient and there's less cables. The goal of any home theater system, whether it be separate speakers with a receiver or a sound bar, is to give immersive movie and TV watching experiences. And I think the biggest thing that a home theater system is supposed to do is smack you in the face with enough bass to make you get the hiccups. A lot of bass. Come on. We can say, ooh, it's about the imaging. Ooh, it's about vocal dialogue. But at the end of the day, it's really about getting punched in the gut by a longshoreman while you're watching TV. And a big explosion. It's about spaceships and explosions and gunfire and car chases. And does the Klipsch Flex S200 system deliver on that? In some ways it does. Even though the subwoofer is fairly compact and you can tell when you pick it up, this thing doesn't have the heaviest of amplifiers in it. It does a remarkable job of keeping up with my gigantic 12-inch RSL subwoofer in my expensive home theater setup. And with the option of putting another subwoofer on there, whether it be wireless or wired, is going to get most people where they need to be with their bass, unless you're in just a giant, huge room. One of the things that my separate home theater system does, my expensive one, is vocal fullness, vocal realism. Bass coming out of that center channel speaker, because most of the information from TV or home theater is coming through that center channel. So you still need bass. With the Klipsch system, the dialogue seemed a bit thin without body. I watched The Sum of All Fears. Great movie. Tom Clancy movie, Ben Affleck, Morgan Freeman. Wonderful, wonderful film. That is from the early 2000s. They actually have beepers in that movie, which I thought was kind of nice. Vintage touch. Throwback to yesteryear. When the Klipsch was running the show, you could really tell a major difference in the dialogue, especially with a 20-year-old mix. There are things that you can do to compensate for that. There is an app. However, even though it's called Klipsch Connect, it's a different app from the previous generation of Klipsch soundbars, the Cinema 600, 400, all those. So you have a 3-band EQ, basically. So you can go in there and manipulate it to try to get a little bit more richness in the vocals if it's too thin for you. As far as an immersive experience, Eclipse did pretty well. Even with the little tiny surround speakers. You can mount them to the wall. You can sit them on top of your other surround speakers, which in my case is what I did. There's a ton of options. I would say the Klipsch soundbar system with the 2 surrounds and the wireless subwoofer gets me 50% of the way there. I love home theater though. I'll tell you who doesn't love home theater though. My kids and my wife. So for me, upstairs, my home theater is awesome. I'm planning on tweaking it even more. But for most people in most situations, unless you have a dedicated home theater room or unless you have an area where most of the time it's just going to be me watching, the soundbar system makes way more sense. Why? Because it just works. It works all the time. You turn on the TV, the soundbar comes on. You still get immersive experiences. You still get enough bass, and if you want more bass, you can always add more bass with more subwoofers. So this thing isn't even playing in the parking lot at the stadium that my home theater is playing in, but it's good enough in most situations, and it's easy. If you're looking for a super easy setup that can grow with you, is easy to use, and is pretty good. Take a look at the Klipsch Flexos 200 and the accessories that can come with it. Thank you so much for watching.